Hi, folks. To illustrate a point about how different nations fight and also to tell a joke, I'm going to pass on to you a joke from World War II that I originally got from Quora, a gent called James Pearson. And once again, the point is that different nations respond in and fight in different ways. And of course, that's partly a national characteristic, but it's partly the doctrine that the country uses at the time. So, if you have unknown troops in front of you and you want to find out what their nationality is, fire a few rounds in their direction. If you are met with machine gun fire, they're German. If you are met with a volley of precision rifle fire, they're British. If they surrender, they're Italian. If there is a mass wave attack of infantry and tanks, they're Russian. If there is a bayonet and sword charge, they're Japanese. If everything is quiet for a minute or two and suddenly you are in the middle of a massive artillery barrage and airstrikes, they're American. Now, if you know much military history, this makes a lot of sense. I don't want to characterize Italians as cowards because that's not the case at all. There were many, many brave Italians. It's just they didn't see a reason why the hell they were in the fight in the first place, and they were right. It was dumb for Italy to have joined the war. Yes, the Japanese at that time were accustomed to things like bayonet and sword charge or banzai charge. Nowadays, they probably wouldn't work the same way, but they did in World War II. Americans have, for a long time, been in the position of having a lot more equipment than their opponents. And so they can expend ammunition in a massive artillery barrage and in airstrikes and so on because they have so much that they don't need to preserve it the way that other countries do. That doesn't mean they want to waste it, but they're willing to pound on people. It reminds me of the notion the Germans had between the two wars that the Americans fought like they played football. And football at that time was 4 yards in a cloud of dust. It wasn't the passing game that it is today. So the Americans at that time, right up the gut, pound them, outnumber them, be better men than them, and so on. Nowadays, the American military doesn't work that way at all. We don't have a lot of people, but we have spent a lot of money on weapons and so on. And so it's more like the passing attack in football, the indirect methods rather than direct methods. And you could go through this whole list and speak about it in these kinds of ways. It represents sort of not only the doctrine and national character and what they had at the time, their situation at the time, because World War II was a different situation from World War I, which was a different situation from the Napoleonic Wars and so on. I hope you enjoyed the joke anyway. Thanks for listening.